paranormal. It surrounds us. It's everywhere. Tonight, you will hear from the people who live and work within these highly active locations, all in the efforts to discover America's most haunted. With your host, ghost hunter and author, Dan Terry.
Good evening, boys and ghouls. I am Dan Terry, your ghost host with the most haunted at Point Pleasant. There's Mothman behind me, and here's a bottle of Mothman root beer ready to go. But this is not what the show is about. We're going to be coming from the haunted Blennerhassett Hotel, where I'll be lecturing tomorrow. But for right now, I just wanted you to see the Mothman. Just got done with the Mothman Museum. Check out my Facebook page under Dan Terry and Spookstalker. I'll have a few shots from the museum and such. But now I got to head down to the Blennerhassett, so I'll talk to you in a minute. I guess, you guys ready to start?
Let's do it.
Let's start. All right. My name is Dan, and I'm an old ghost hunter. I started back in '79 when I got my driver's license. So I've been doing it quite a while, and Matt's been come up, and we've talked a little bit about just the basics of ghost hunting. Now, what does that mean? I can get so basic, it's dull. So I'm going to show you some videos and show you some stuff about the specific things that I do, and one of them is the use of dowsing rods. This is my favorite tool. I was doing a charity ghost hunt, and I had 1 K2 meter and 12 couples that came in and paid to ghost hunt this place. So I went out and bought the copper and made the rods and passed those out, and I've never been without them since. This is the greatest ghost hunting tool I've ever seen. But let's get down a little bit to the basics. And folks, if you feel you can't hear me, let me know. I'll switch the microphone. All right, so the basics I do want to just brush, of course, is stay in pairs at least. And this has nothing to do with possession and all of that stuff. It has to do with pure safety. There was folks in Kansas I used to work with who alone went crawling through a basement and didn't realize they were in bat guano because it was dark. A second person might have noticed this is not normal. So, or falling down, tripping, anything like that. You really need to have permission from where you're ghost hunting. I don't know if you guys know, there was just recently another place burned down because ghost hunters had gotten in without permission and was lighting candles, and it set the whole place on fire. It gives us a bad name. So just, let's do it right. You have a source of communication, and I'll tell you right away, I absolutely hate those little radios that chirp. God, I hate those. And I'll tell you right now, and if I offend anybody here, get used to it. I do that a lot. Those things, nobody knows how to shut up. They want to talk constantly on that radio. So you either got people talking or this little thing chirping like a cricket. And you can't do any real ghost hunting that way. So have communication with you. Don't use it unless you have to. Know the area, and please know the law. Now, I don't know what it is here. In Missouri, it is illegal to stop anyone from coming into a cemetery unless it's a historical place. Cape Girardeau Cemetery, I know, has alarms and movement alarms, motion alarms, all that stuff because of the damage done. But most cemeteries, you can't keep people out of it even if it's on your own private property because people have the right to grieve in their way. In North Carolina, I just found out you can go to a graveyard at night, but you can't go to a cemetery. It's illegal to go to a cemetery, but not a graveyard. And I got people looking funny. What's the difference? A cemetery is owned by a public group like a city or county. A graveyard is connected to a church. So the churches aren't protected, but the city property is. But after dark, you cannot go into a city-owned or county-owned cemetery. But you can't go into a graveyard without breaking the law. So.
Say in Kentucky, you can't go into a graveyard or to a cemetery after dark.
Yeah, it's always the cemetery, not the graveyard. And I found one place it was in North Carolina, Beaufort, North Carolina, where two churches share the graveyard. It's a burial ground because no one church claims it. The definitions get really strange that way. All right, to start out with the tools, the first tools you're going to want to start with, and you're going to want a camera and a recorder if you can handle listening to those recordings for hours and hours at a time. I give up, I can't do it. But some people have the patience for that and get awesome EVPs. But you've got to have the K2 meter, the camera, and of course, you got the REM pods, which I throw into the same category. You all know what REM pods are, right?
No.
No? REM pods are the little devices with an antenna on it and lights. And if the ghost can come near it, like a K2 meter, it will sound an alarm and set off the lights. So you can get to a point where you're asking questions of the ghost, and he can set that off for yes and no. So they're really kind of cool. K2 works the same. I had a Cambridge I was very happy with, but it didn't last very long. It's not made very well, and I can't order a new one. But these work best when they're used in tandem with another device.
I don't know if it's her grandfather or not, but
I'd say that's a grandfather.
hello, Grandpa.
Hello, Grandpa.
I'm addressing the other spirit in the room. Are you willing to talk to us? Cross the rods for yes, move them apart for no.
I swear I just saw movement in this chair before they all started going off. It's like a white
very, very
orb.
Very slowly he's moving towards you.
About using rods is you got to give the ghost time to answer because they take time to build that energy up to move those things. Now, I have seen these. Usually a good rod session might last 3 to 5 minutes, but I have seen these with really strong ghosts go on for 40 minutes, which is just awesome. And they can set the meters off at the same time. Let's see.
Hi, little bit.
Is that what your mother called you? Or maybe your father?
Father.
Are you older than 10? Are you younger than 10? Are you younger than 5? Would you be 3? Are you 4?
I teach class.
So that's the main point when you're ghost hunting is give the ghost time to answer because they cannot answer real quick. They got to build up the energy to do it. Again, using the K2s and other devices like the rods or any other REM pods, whatever you have, ask the questions in an attempt to get the spirit to cause that to go off. And I use rods. Okay, so dowsing rods, if you don't know, they are using wood or metal. I prefer copper. And they find water wells, unmarked graves, metals, or any place where the ground's been disturbed. And back where I'm from in Missouri, they've got natural gas companies, Fidelity Telephone, AT&T, out there with these things looking for the underground cables. They've got all the what you need, metal detectors and all of that. They use the dowsing rods because they really work. For us, we just ask the ghosts yes or no questions. I ask them to cross for yes, separate them for no, and they do a really good job for me. Now this one, this guy is from a group called Midwest Spirit Seekers Society. He showed up there, I was doing a charity ghost hunt. Did not believe in rods, pendulums, none of that stuff. He wants electronics. That was his big deal. Until I gave him a set of rods and he became a believer.
On camera. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. All right, bear with me.
It's recording already.
Yes, it is. Being an amateur here. Okay. Can you let me, hold on, I can already feel you messing with them. Hold on, give me a chance. Let me get set here, okay? All right. Okay, can you, I don't even need to ask. You've done this before, haven't you? Awesome. All right, oh, there you go. Would you open them back up? Okay. Thank you. A while ago, they were moving really hard. That was me holding them too tight, wasn't it? That was me, I got you. Sorry about that.
It had been me holding.
Sorry about that. We're, cool. Okay, so open them back up then. Okay. So now we need to figure out, if you'll tell us, who you are. Is this Fred that's here right now? Okay. Is this Fritz? Yeah? Now I don't got him loose, so this is Fritz the caretaker that's in here? Outstanding. Pleasure to meet you. And you were the one that took care of this place, right? You did all the cleaning and the caretaking and all that? Awesome. Outstanding. You did a good job. I like this place. This place is fantastic. I can understand why you're still here. You like people coming through here? Alright, well that's cool. I would imagine that it keeps you from being alone up in here. Now, we're told here, because this is my first time, we're told here that there's multiple people in here, right? There's like Fritz and Fred, maybe a soldier from the Confederacy, and maybe a little girl, Mrs. Bush. Is all that true? Is there a bunch of people here? All right. Now I have to ask, all right? And this one's really important. You know, everybody here is okay? Everybody on your side, everybody there is happy, everybody's getting along well, right? Okay. And I'm telling you, I have no pressure on these rods anymore, and I am flabbergasted at
How quickly they move,
at this. So this is awesome. You know, cool. I'm actually feeling pressure up against them.
Isn't that neat?
This is one of those rare cases. His interview with that ghost went on for about 15 minutes. And we knew who Fritz was. Fritz was a hobo, basically. And back in the 1905, 1907 time period, he showed up there, and one of the daughters of the family that owned that brewery climbed a tree, first day ever in a dress. She was a tomboy. And when she fell, the dress got caught up and she was hanging there. Fritz climbed up and got her, so they gave him a job immediately as a caretaker. And he was there for another 5 or 6 years and then died right there in the basement. And he thinks that's his place, and he's very careful with it. He really likes people and he likes to talk. and he's strong, and he's talked forever. And
communicate, maybe that they're stuck. That's the only thing I can think.
or the fact that we're not scared. What do you say, guys? You want to try somewhere else now? I think we've done a lot here.
Well, do you leave this, go look at other places, give him a chance to, I'm interested now, I'm like sucked into his story.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll turn our machine back on, so I'm...
Get on.
Oh. What?
Okay, now I've been using this machine a lot. I've never seen it do that.
Sam, are you wanting me to stay? I take that as a yes.
I'm asking you.
Okay. All right, Sam, cross the rods if you want me to stay, and I'll stay here with you for a while. Tell me you're getting that on video.
That's right.
Right. Check it, make sure. We've been at this a long time. Okay, Sam, I'm going to walk out here for a minute, and I want you to try talking to Jack without me here, okay? Kind of like, I don't want to hear what you guys are saying, so you and I can stay on the same basis. Wait. Yeah.
Sam, did the boy die in the 1990s?
Right.
Cross the rods if he died in the 1990s. Come on.
You got something else there?
I am.
Come on.
Saying something?
The coup, ask that question.
He said the boy can cross, so.
It's funny. So when he's done crossing, you feel the pressure release.
That's fine.
You want Dan to stay?
Sam, do you want Dan to stay?
I'll try it again. How about this? I'm going to go to the restroom and then I'll be right back.
Sam, did you go with Dan? Sam, do you want Dan to come back?
Horrible. It's interesting. It's very
Is he in here?
He said he went with you.
And he said it took power.
Okay. So yeah, that goes on, but that's, the Fox Theater was crazy. I got one here where we talked about orbs. I've talked about orbs with some of the folks that's come to visit me in there in the next room. This one is pretty cool. They ask a question, the orb flies through the rods, and then the rods answer.
Favorite.
Hey Nora, do you like Phantom of the Opera?
Do you like Hamilton? I'm gonna go with a no on that.
Don't think so.
Do you like Hamilton though?
Ask her if she likes Hamilton and then we
We're separating for no.
That's a zero.
Ask her if she likes Hamilton and then we
Hamilton?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. This is one where I'm sitting there doing the orb thing, or the rod thing, and the meter's going off, and I didn't even notice. The cameraman had to tell me.
Maybe. Would you make it darker in here now for us?
You gotta pull up on the cake here. There's no one.
Oh. Was that you making the cake 2 go off?
No one.
Yes, all right. Hey, Mr. Rollins, you're being really cool.
Okay, so if I had anything to tell you about the basics other than be safe and get permission and all that good stuff, use more than one piece of equipment. You can have 2 people there. I was at a church in, an old church in Kansas, and I had a psychic answering questions, and I was behind a pew, 3 pews back with my rods low, getting exactly the same answers. Getting the yes when the psychic said yes, or a no when the psychic said no. It's the best type of evidence. And that's the evidence it's hard to argue with. So if y'all don't have any questions, I will. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
It's all right. I'm curious about the mechanics of these devices. Like, like the K2 specifically, like how is it developed? And is it electromagnetic field?
K2 is actually developed from a tool for electricians.
Yeah, okay.
And it was to find problems in wiring by detecting electromagnetic energy. I was in a place in Herman, in old Missouri, an old hotel, and they're telling me the ghost sits right here and does this and that, and we know it because our meters go off. Well, I figured out pretty quick they bought a Dollar General clock, alarm clock, and it had massive electric issues, and it was spiking the meter every time. So when I proved that, they threw that one away and went out and bought a new one.
So how do you make sure that you're getting a pure reading and other fields aren't intersecting with it?
Everything is about
multiple.
Yeah, when you ask the questions, the meter goes off. That means it's not a steady leak of energy.
Okay.
If you find it and can trace it back to its spot, then you're doing fine.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I did one where it would be here and gone, and then back over here. Well, it turned out it was ghost because when the cameras come up, and again, more evidence, there was an orb in front of me every time. So to me, that means that orb was setting off the meters.
Thank you.
Sure, glad to. Anything else before I step down? Yes, sir.
You started the ghost research and that something. How did you get into it in the first place?
Kolchak the Night Stalker. It's an old television show from 1973, 74. It started out with 2 movies. It was about a reporter, kind of an X-Files type thing, Monster of the Week. It just inspired me to do this. I just love that show. And he went into the library, looked up information, and figured things out, which is the right way to do it. So that's how I got inspired.
I have more about the technology. Are there any new technologies you see being developed or any places that are like doing research on developing different stuff?
There is. It's constant. In fact, a friend of mine in St. Louis is working on a thing now. He thinks he's talking to hell.
Okay.
And he's hooked it up to these big, I can't understand it. He's an electrical engineer with TWA, when TWA was here. And he's building this stuff. So I don't understand it. It is coming out. But for us, rods with the meters or the spirit boxes, which you can take with a grain of salt. But when the spirit box is saying the same thing as the rods and the meter going off, you got a lot of evidence there. That's where I think the key of it is. More than one bit of evidence. Okay, I think the next speaker's ready. Folks, I'll be over here at a table. If you have any more questions, please come on by and talk to me. Okay, I'm here with Sherry Brake, still at the Haunted Blennerhassett, and Sherry is ghost hunter. You've been on.
I'm a grandma.
Well, that's cool.
A ghost hunter, investigator.
You own a company?
Yeah, Haunted Heartland Tours. This is about my 21st year leading tours. We do international tours as well, Ireland and Scotland. Just came back off of the Haunted Las Vegas. I'll tell you what, you never had a thrill until you pulled up at the back gate of Area 51 with 45 people on a 60-foot bus, and everybody makes it out.
And nobody got arrested.
Nobody went to
How
jail.
do you do that?
It was fun.
And nobody went up to the sign that said lethal force beyond this point?
I said, I primed everybody. I said, you have 5 minutes, orderly fashion, crack the whip. 5 minutes, take photographs, don't throw anything over the fence, don't rattle the fence, because, we might not make it out of here. But it was great. So, I like blending the history. Everything I do, I research. Documentation, love it. Investigation as well. I like to research heavily, like you, the location I'm going to, the myths, the folklore, the urban legends, everything, and then make up my own mind about it.
Right.
And when I started the tour company, Haunted Heartland, I give people the ability to show up and meet me, use investigative gear, or just walk around on their own and then formulate their own opinion with it. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Okay. And your book on haunted prisons, which is jails and prisons, is my big deal.
Yeah.
So how's that going?
It's going well. The second book that I wrote was on the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio.
Right.
And then the book after that was on the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia.
Okay.
So I have this prison and asylum thing, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
And you said you've been to the Missouri Penitentiary
Yes,
in
I
Jefferson
have.
City?
Yeah, I have. I've never rented it out overnight, but I did a day tour, and it was very impressive. I'm fascinated by it.
We was in, what did they call it? I think the hole or what it was, down the dungeon.
Yeah.
And we could hear a woman singing, and there were no women in the building. We ran out and searched for where that woman was.
See, that's
most beautiful, angelic voice I've ever heard.
I like that because everybody expects to hear disembodied voices, men in a prison or shadow people, or something happened to you. But to have a woman is completely out of character. That always gets your attention. That's kind of cool. I love it.
And you spoke today, just
I did
on
haunted prisons and asylums, and did a little 25-minute talk. It's hard to fit everything into 25 minutes.
Yeah, well, maybe next year we'll get an hour.
It's hard to get that started with all those adjectives and ghost stories, and then you got to say, 2 sentences on this building.
Anything else coming up to let people know where to find you?
I have a Celtic crossing trip in September. It's coming up. It's 10 days in Ireland and Scotland. Then I've got the Haunted America Conference in Alton, Illinois. That's happening in June. And then in May, it's the Ohio State Reformatory Paracon in Mansfield, Ohio. So many big words.
Maybe just me.
Yeah, but it's fun. And I love combining the whole entertainment, but enlightening, and then letting people formulate their own opinions about it. And I love spreading history. It's good.
All right.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Absolutely. Well, without history, it's nothing.
Right.
And we're going to get you on the show soon, so don't worry. We'll have her on the show
That'd be
real
great.
quick. All right.
I'd love to.
Well, thanks for coming out with me.
I appreciate
All right.
it.
You take care
Thank
now. We're back, and of course, again with Scott, because I was talking about the hotel here. Now, you're running a ghost tour, a ghost hunt tonight, an investigation. But you've got stories for this hallway right here where we've been all day.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do paranormal investigations for about the past year in the hotel with Adra Johnson, their director of paranormal, on multiple occasions. And for some reason, the spirit of Mr. Chancellor, who built the hotel, has taken a liking to me. It could be we both have a background in banking, so it may be that. But on multiple occasions down the promenade here, the main hallway, going to the back of the hotel, we've sensed things. We've had a lot of spirit box activity with him. And there's a mirror in the hallway that sometimes if you come in through the back door and you look, you'll see a very dark shape standing just to the right of the mirror.
Okay.
It's like he's sitting there watching for people to come down through the corridor. Last night, in fact, I was about 3:30 a.m. I was taking my dog for a walk. We were going down the hallway here. The dog literally sat on his haunches and started whimpering and scooting backward. We got about halfway down the hall.
Wow. All right.
So we're looking forward to tonight to see what we can scare up.
All right. I will be there. All right. We're at the haunted Blennerhassett, and of course we've all done our thing. Scott's doing his thing tonight. You guys all remember Scott. He was on the show, 2 months ago?
Yeah, about 2 months ago.
And he's with Haunted Beckley. And how many towns are you doing ghost tours in?
Right now we're up to about 7 towns. So we're just keep expanding. We're going up Route 19. So.
And they're coming to you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
We just added Kermit, actually. Wow. McDowell County.
How often are you going to be doing this in these towns? Just once a month?
Probably about once a month.
Okay.
Kermit, we're just going to try around October, just see how it works out.
Okay. Well, what I really want to ask, though, is about Paranormish.
Yes.
What's the status on that? What are we doing? That is another ghost conference.
Yeah, that's not really a ghost. It's a paranormal tourism conference for professionals like us who are seeing a really big uptick, particularly in West Virginia, of folks that want to have this experience.
Okay.
We're an experience culture now. Mm-hmm. Folks want to actually have the experience of the paranormal or high strangeness.
Okay.
So we are, gathering everybody together so we can work together. And that's like today. We've met so many folks here that are amazed how we do work together. So it's going to be great. It's in Oak Hill this year on May the 13th.
Oak Hill. It's in a school that you said is extremely large.
Yeah, it's in an old high school. So you can imagine a high school that's over 100 years old and what sort of spirits may inhabit that.
And I got to ask this one too. Something big's just coming down the pike for you. Can you talk about it?
I can. So coming up on March the 24th is the episode of Kindred Spirits. It's their 7th season, 10th episode. It's the finale for this season. And we filmed that in Beckley at Historic Black Knight. I was able to take part in the show. It's a pretty big experience, actually. You watch it on television, and you think you know what's happening, then you do it.
Yeah.
So we've had a great experience with the cast and crew of Kindred Spirits. Amy, Adam, and Chip were in Beckley.
Okay.
And,
is that Chip
Coffee?
Coffee. Yeah. Okay.
So make sure you tune in either on the Travel Channel or starting the 24th about noon. You can stream it on Discovery Plus, and that's going to be that's a great platform because you can watch it anytime you want.
All right. And Paranormish will be when?
May the 13th. Paranormish, it's a Saturday. Okay. And like I say, we're having it in a much bigger place than we did last year. Last year totally took us by surprise because we were overwhelmed.
Yeah. Apparently you all were had so many people wanting to come in, you had to turn them down.
Yeah, we turned down a lot of folks last year.
And that was your first?
That was our first. So hopefully we've learned all of our lessons until next year.
All right. Well, I'll be there, and they're making me talk this time. I'm not just coming to visit. So I'll see you guys there then, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, looking forward to it, Dan.
Thanks, guys.
It's been awesome.
All right.
But basically, the Kaltenegger side of the building, which is where the restaurant is above and below, particularly the basement and room 409, which is a bi-level suite, has had a ghost since about the 1980s called the Bowler Hat Man. Now, in the hotel, although it is a high-traffic spiritual area, this is the only spirit that has ever been known to be aggressive or negative in any way. We actually had a regular guest report that she was held down in bed by her neck by this guy. He is associated with poltergeist-type activities such as nausea, things being thrown off the shelves. So when I got in here and started doing the paranormal program about a year ago, I made it my personal mission to find out who this guy is, because he's pretty much, anonymously terrorizing our guests when they feel like it. So I took over Susan Shepard's Haunted Parkersburg tours. She did about 30 years of research, and I did my own. And we have come to the conclusion that this spirit is an 1860s serial killer named Joseph Eisel. Now, he was a German immigrant who went by John Schaefer while he was in Parkersburg, and this is because he was wanted for murder in Germany, actually. So the physical description of the bowler hat guy is that he's just below 6 feet, straight nose, light eyes, actually quite nice looking despite being terrible. And Joseph Eisel's self-written description before his execution is 5'11", gray blue eyes, straight nose, same type of build. Same type of dress that would be appropriate for the time period. Now, people like to say he wasn't that successful of a serial killer. He actually only got 3 people in Parkersburg. He was caught on his 4th attempted. But he was wanted for murder in Germany, and we think that he is also responsible for other unsolved murders in the area. Now, how does this tie to the hotel if he was executed in 1860, right? All his murders were immediately in this area. If you see the courthouse annex across the street, that's where his first murder took place with a hatchet. Everything else was just around the area. He was caught at Smoot Theater, which is hardly 2 blocks up the way. And then when we got historical documents, it said that Joseph Eisel resided in dwelling units above a bakery that is now the First National Bank. Well, the lobby used to be First National Bank when the hotel first opened, and before it was a hotel, it was a bakery with dwelling units on top. So it's believed that he actually lived on the premises here at the hotel. And I will tell you, after I first identified him in the first tour that I got it, because I didn't know immediately when I started this program, I had some guests of mine sitting at the bar for brunch the next day. And if you go in the bar, you'll see 3 photos at the very top. There used to be 4. It's a very thick platform, been there for about a decade. And the 4th one actually got thrown very violently off and almost hit the bartender. So he had initially a very strong reaction to being identified, but in our investigation since, which we've had about 6 months of that, he has admitted to being who he is. He prefers to be called John, which I find quite a little
30-minute tours in here earlier today, and we had a lot of activity then. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, because we like to do multiple levels of validation, and I'm going to set up and we're going to do some flashlight work with some other detectors and stuff as well. Is that someone else's flashlight?
That's my flashlight and my K2.
Okay, just want to make sure that I'm not putting it on someone else's. Okay, let me move this. Hey, Mike, can you get this out and turn it on? Okay, so he liked to cuss at us quite a bit earlier today.
I just don't realize that they left and I was upstairs doing that. I didn't know I was doing that. Is it?
I forgot to.
Which one? Okay, so we've come back in to talk to you. If you are here with us, can you turn a flashlight on for us? By the count of 5. 1, 2. Thank you very much. Turn it back off. Thank you. So, do we have Joseph with us again? If this is Joseph, can you turn the flashlight back on? By the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did we count that one? That was pretty close. Let's try it again by the count of 5. What is?
So the pod's kind of going off right there.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So Joseph, there's a lot of ways you can come in contact with us. You can touch any of this equipment that's laying around here. And yeah, thank you. Turn it off. That meter over there's going off. That one is. And we're getting little tiny spikes on that. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask?
I would like to ask something.
Okay, go ahead.
Joseph, were you in our room next door last night?
Wait, turn it off. Let her get a chance to get her question out. Try again.
Were you in our room next door last night?
If you were, turn it on by the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you know who was in their room last night? Was it someone else? Okay, so
it was actually this morning. It was after 12, so it was probably closer to 1. So it was this morning.
Okay, so it was this morning. Were you in there this morning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you know who was in there this morning? Can you turn the flashlight on by the count? Okay, it wasn't them, but they know who was in there. All right, we've been getting the word Frank thrown out a lot today. Was there a Frank that was in their room this morning? If Frank was in the room, can you turn the flashlight on by the count of 5? 1, 2. Oh man.
Well, let me tell you what Frank did. I was sleeping on my side, and I had just got to sleep, and I felt somebody pull my arm, and it like landed off the bed, and it just woke me up, and it scared me, and I was just like, and I kind of knew what happened, but I just rolled over next to him and wasn't even facing that side of the room anymore.
Okay, so that kind of throws my theory of who Frank is out the window, because they can't. Well, maybe, unless he has multiple personalities and doesn't realize he's Frank too. Aliases. Well, you might have hit the nail on the head. Because here's the thing. Yeah, let's ask. Joseph, is Frank another one of your aliases? If he is, just like John, can you turn the flashlight on? By the count of 5. 1. Okay, so Frank is another one of his aliases.
He must have liked that one.
Because apparently a Frank came in twice today through spirit boxes, different people and everything. And so, can you tell us what year it is? Do you guys have any more questions? Anybody here? Not you. It immediately went right back up. We'll ask you more questions in a minute. So, the other question I have is, I'd like to know how many other spirits are in this room besides Joseph, aka John, aka Frank. Are there actually, no, I'm not done talking. I know it takes me a minute. I'm getting to my point. Turn it off. Thank you. I want to know if there are others here with you. Are there any female spirits here with you? If there's any females, can you turn the flashlight on? At a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But see, the weird thing is, these 2 meters are going nuts. Does he not want the females to talk? Because in the generation... Okay, so because think about in the generation that this guy was alive. Females were supposed to be seen and not heard so much. So,
are there any children in here?
They're on the 2nd floor visiting. Sorry, no. Yeah.
One straggler.
I'm pretty sure that the children follow me around on the 2nd floor.
Something does.
Something does. Yeah. So, could you let one of the females speak with us? Would you let one of the females speak with us? Because we really like talking to you, but we would love to hear and see if there's any female spirits here too. That's a no? That was more than 5 seconds, so.
It's a hard no.
No, it is definitely a hard no. Okay, it's a hard no, yeah.
That's fine.
Did you only kill 3 people? The 3 people in Parkersburg. Is that the only people that you killed?
That's where you guys get earlier.
Are
you on the bed?
So, were there more than 4 people? If there was more than 4 people, turn the light on. Okay. How about more than, turn it off. How about more than 6 people?
So the original. Yeah, this is original, because the elevator bank's right over there.
Okay.
Now I noticed as soon as I walked in that door and came this direction, I was feeling just really a heavy feeling, almost disoriented. Now it could be because there's all this mechanical stuff around us that could be affecting anything. But yeah, there's.
But you know what I mean? Maybe it's not vinegar. I don't know. It smells vinegary.
Oh, it's in the after restaurant. Oh, okay.
So I'd like to just start off by asking this always a simple question, and that is there a spirit that's not amongst us living folks here with us tonight? We have a variety of devices. There's a light here which you can make turn on and off to communicate, and there's a device here that if you get close to us.
The door open.
Ooh.
You had that lever, right?
Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, that was mine.
Wake up a little bit.
Yeah, those ones are kind of bumpy. You gotta
kind of touchy.
You gotta wrangle them a little bit.
So in this area,
Oh, red.
yeah. So that's a digital EMF meter. I have another one here in my hand that's behind my back, and it just lit up as well. Okay, so we're having some activity here. We're acknowledging that there is possibly a spirit that's with us. The light's trying to dim. Thank you.
That's gone up to, they went up to 106.
Yeah, this one here is
170.
this one here is
So they're in this general
this one here is at 400 right now. So.
Oh, so they're right here.
Yeah. And that's up in the yellow. So if you would like to communicate, can you make the flashlight go all the way off? You've dimmed it pretty nicely, but can you make it turn off by itself? There's a lot of energy eating over here.
And these are to tap it, don't they? Just barely touch it to make it down.
Yeah, all you have to do
It's
is
gotta
just
barely
touch
tap it.
Barely touch it and it will dim.
And that's interesting. There might be one of the little kids too that's over here.
Yeah.
Still got 2 more.
Are you a child that is with us here? Can you?
I wish we had cat balls.
I do.
I do.
Yep, that press.
Yep.
Get some more. Put it up.
Find a nice place to put the cat ball.
We're all kind of crowded in one spot.
I know, we need them.
I have to press this first? Or
Yeah,
just-
you have to press that first.
Yeah. If you scream, who's going to hear you down here? Huh. Yeah. Let me just back out. Just remember I said that. I only think it might be a little child because usually in the downstairs basement area is where we get the children that hang around in here. Because down here is where with any hot fire, and that's where they lived at. So if we would have went into, did you guys go on the first little tour with her? So if you take you back to the laundry room,
Yes.
that area, that's where you will see them running back and forth. You will see shadows. But I'm assuming this is connected because of where it's located, eventually. I would assume this is part of the same area.
You know you're between 5 and 10. Are you older than 8? Okay.
I guess you don't listen to that.
Well, whoever it is I'm talking to, I've got down on their level so they can reach you.
Okay.
Okay, last question. Are you 9? Go ahead and hold your. I like to use those as a second test. There we go.
That went on.
All right.
Did you ask if we were brilliant?
Yeah. All right, that's really good. I appreciate it. You're doing great for me. Now, I'm going to ask you, are you a boy? Or were you a boy? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right. Are you or was you a girl? All right. Big yes. Thank you, sweetheart. That's awesome.
So the reason I asked that, if you met him at the front desk, when we were down here in the area, the little like break room, they saw a little girl run across in our little laundry area.
Okay.
And that's why I questioned that just in
Well,
case.
now you know. Talk to a little girl. Do you know how she was dressed? And don't tell me. Just do you know?
Just,
I
just
think I
think
remember what
just
it
think
was.
Well, what I'm going to ask is her to describe, or me try to figure out her clothes
Yes.
and see if it matches her memory. All right. Do you want to tell somebody else, whisper in their ear before I start?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think I remember.
Okay, we're not sure, but we're going to ask you what you're wearing. Was that you that they saw playing in the laundry room? Was that it?
Okay, that's her.
Okay. All right.
Oh, there goes mine too.
You are doing great, kiddo. You're doing fantastic. All right, now, let's see. Was you wearing a dress? Okay. All right. Was the dress dark in color? Was it like a blue or black? Brown? No. Okay. Then was the dress bright colored, like yellow or pink? Was it? Okay. What do you get? Different answers?
I'm getting just yeah, this one's the only one moving, and it's just like slight, I can feel it, like
Okay.
wanting to move, but it's not
right.
like going anywhere.
All right, so was the dress actually pink?
I gotta guess on that one.
Oh, you got big, yeah, both of them. Did you catch anything?
I knew it was a dress, but I didn't know what color.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you, sweetheart. That's awful nice of you. Is there anybody in here that you've seen before? Would you point the rods at anybody in here you've seen before tonight? You've been down here before?
I was a server here, so I've been down this area a lot.
Okay. Would you like to talk to her? Would you answer questions for her? The reason I do that is younger girls get better responses.
I've been coming here and investigating for the last and when I come here, I have 3 dogs. The dogs always stay with me. And the dogs are very skittish in this area. Now before, this was not built here. This was just a table there at the end of the hall. And on multiple occasions when we would come in the back door, we would see a shadow darting through here from these doors, which would be closed, and it'd be like, I'm talking 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we would see a shadow come darting through here. Last time I was here around Valentine's Day, I was wandering around down here at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they were all being constructed, this tent. And I walked through the back door, and it felt like something hit me in the chest right there. So I'd really like to kind of, where they did the construction here, but the best thing was last night, 3:30 this morning, I'm bringing the dog down this hallway. Right here, the dog literally sets down and started scooting backward and crying. Right in here. And this is where we've had encountered, Adrian and I encountered, we were just walking through here talking, and it was like a person crossed over right in front of us and out. And we know that there were doors along through here when this was another building. Same thing with, and I wish the lights were off, but that mirror down there, several folks, and I've encountered it, you'll see somebody like crossing from the doorway that's right on the other side of the mirror, and a shadow going right across that mirror. So you've got your dowsing rods. If you have a yes answer, you may cross the rods, and for no, you may open them back up. So my first question is, so my first question is real simple. I want to cut to the chase. Am I speaking with Mr. William Chancellor, the builder of this particular building? Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Chancellor, you were a banker in life, and I have been a banker in life. And I know that you weathered the crash of 1889 pretty well. What do you think about, are you worried about your finances now that other institutions are failing and crashing?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, hard no.
He doesn't.
No, and one of the things I want to check with Mr. Chancellor about. At one time, we know at the end of this hallway there was a cigar stand. And one of the times I was here in the spring, earlier, there was a convention of cigar and liquor salesmen here. And they claim to have encountered you right outside the bar near your painting, your portrait. Do you recall encountering these gentlemen? There you go.
May I ask?
You may.
I'm going to ask if you'd rather be called Mr. or Colonel. Would you prefer Colonel? Let's try that. That's just something I noticed, and most people like to be called by their rank.
Exactly. Well, Colonel Chancellor, I have a really important question for you because it's been debated. Did you serve during the Great War between the states.
Is that accurate?
That's very accurate.
Okay. I would have guessed otherwise.
Is it true that you adopted the title of colonel without actually attaining the rank?
That was a southern thing, wasn't it?
Yes,
I've
well,
heard
it's a
that.
very southern thing.
Colonel Chancellor, were you angry when they took your picture down from over top of the fireplace?
Oh. I felt current on that.
He told us one other time how exactly he felt about that. So.
I still can't believe they did it, but anyway. I'm on your side, by the way, so. Oh, thank you.
I just have
like her.
I have to be standing in front of the portrait, and I just happen to have an EMF meter in my pocket. And I was telling somebody about that this portrait used to be above the fireplace, solid red and green. No.
Or I mean, like orange.
I have another question.
Shoot.
All right. Colonel Chancellor, did you attend Joseph Eisler's hanging?
Pretty good guess. But several thousand.
Yeah, it was about 5,000 or 6,000. You know, I'll just say this because a lot of the tours that I conduct in Beckley and Fayetteville and such, there's been a public hanging in every area here. This was the last one in Wood County. The last one in Raleigh County was about 1890. That was big tourist business in that day. They ran special steamboats down here to Parkersburg. They ran special trains into Beckley from all over. And the newspapers from, and like with Joseph, we've seen newspapers from Wheeling and Pittsburgh that actually covered, sent reporters to cover the hangings. It was a very big occasion.
I find that so weird.
Yeah, see if it lights up.
Okay, is there any other males here that you will allow to talk to us? Or are you the only one that's allowed to talk to us here? No, you don't want to talk to us. Okay, I get it. I didn't make it mine. It's early. It's going to be a long night. If I've already made you mad, then what are we going to do with the rest of the evening, huh?